when you pull out, and let's say in this case, it is for something as short as a minute, give or take some seconds. What's happening? What are you saying? What are you thinking? You're in silence. What are you doing?
There's something that comes to my mind I want to share. That is, in the corporate world these days, that socially responsible companies apparently talk about the triple bottom line. They're not just talking about one bottom line. It's not just about money anymore. It is about money. That's one bottom line. The second bottom line is how it affects the environment. And the third bottom line is how it affects people in the company and how it affects people in general. And so I've been thinking about the powers, and I've been thinking that every power actually is not just about one bottom line. What am I getting is not just about one thing. What am I doing in it is not just about one thing, but it's about the triple bottom line. And what I get out of these powers is there are three things that happen. There are three things that you need and three things that happen while you are in this power to withdraw mode. One is that you have to remember and you have to come into the awareness constantly that you are the driver, the master of this body. Just like a car has a driver, and the car has a year, make, model, and the driver has its own or his or her own identity. In the same way, I, the self in this body, have my eternal identity, and then the body has its identity. And so when I come into that awareness that I'm the driver and the master of this this vehicle, then I automatically disconnect from the negativity that's going on, not only within myself, but people around me.
And this is the act of saying it. I am the driver.
Or becoming into this awareness. So you asked me what happens.
Well, it's a mysterious, and I'm trying to make it less mysterious.
Yeah, okay. So
coming into an awareness strikes me as a little bit mysterious.
Okay. So you're thinking about it. You are becoming aware of it. For example, we are talking, but you are aware of glasses right there.
Yes.
So in the same way, you have awareness of it. Just like you have awareness of your environment, here you have awareness of you, the driver in this body. You, the soul, the eternal self, the being in this body.
And the act of reaching that awareness pulls you away, detaches you.
Yes.
From the moment.
Not only it detaches you, it separates you. Not exactly detaches. I want to use the word detach, and I want to use the word separate in different contexts here. So it separates you from negativity. So it takes you away from that negativity. That's one thing that happens. And then the second thing that I would need to do, and then there is a result to it, is that I have to become aware of my intrinsic qualities, that my original nature is peace, it's power, that I'm actually originally powerful, I am peaceful, I am joy, my original nature is joy, my original nature is bliss. I have power, I have knowledge, all of those things. And so if I connect with that, my original, my eternal identity, then that strength that comes from those qualities emerge. That's the second thing that happens. And then the third thing is the word I want to use, detachment, which is different from separating yourself from people.
In what way?
Detachment actually means that you are becoming a witness, that you're witnessing an act. You're in the act, you're in the play, but you're becoming a witness to the play. You're looking at the play as a witness, you're witnessing it.
Is this an emotional detachment, so you're no longer feeling whatever the emotion is of that moment?
It could be an emotional detachment, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. You can just watch your emotions. That's also detachment. Your emotions are playing out and you start watching your emotions. And interestingly enough, physics plays a role here, that this thing about the observer changes the observation, changes the whole experiment. In the same way, when you start watching yourself, when you start witnessing yourself, that's watching yourself, you start observing yourself, then a lot of things change. You automatically start stepping away from these negative influences, whether they're yours or other people, and go in a direction that is beneficial for you.
But why would that be an automatic? If I do reach the point where I am pulled away and I'm saying, well, I appear to be upset in this particular moment, why does that automatically imbue me with these other qualities?
Are we just talking about detachment here?
Sure.
Okay. For some reason, that's how our consciousness works. And that's my experience over a period of time, that when I become an observer of it, I seem to not just be an observer, but to actually affect change in my consciousness, change in my awareness, change in my emotions, whether it's emotions, whether it's feelings, whether it is feeling bad, good, whatever it is. And so it seems to change it, and that's been my experience watching myself.
Well, we were talking before about the relationship that this phenomenon that you describe here has in the psychological world. And if you go down, continuing down this continuum in psychology, you get to a pathology. You get to a place where people have detached from reality. They've left the real world for some of the same reasons that I might be inclined to withdraw using the power as you've described it, which is things have gotten pretty tough. Something traumatic has happened. And rather than being me, rather than being the person who was victimized by a crime or some other victim of trauma, I'll detach and I'll just observe. And in fact, it is regarded as a self, as a survival instinct, human survival instinct. What you've described isn't a reaction in this case. But in fact an action, a conscious intention. How are those things the same? How are they different?
In that case, that when people when they have a problem and they detach, in that case they need help coming back. So it's almost like they've disengaged and they're not able to re-engage. In this particular case, you have not only the choice, but you exercise the choice to re-engage with more power, more inner power, more strength. And so that's the difference, that you reconnect, you plug back into life, you plug back into your story, into the role you're playing, into whatever, with a lot more strength, with a lot more tools at your disposal to deal with whatever is going on in that situation. And that's the difference. And you don't need outside help that's the other thing, is you don't need outside help. There you need outside help to come back into the situation, come back into your life. But here you don't. And there it seems to be over a long period of time that people, if they're going to a psychiatrist for this particular disease, it must be months or a long period of time. But here I'm talking about minutes. I'm talking about it being a centering practice. Detachment really, when the word detachment that I'm using is in the context, it's nothing but a practice of centering yourself.